Hi, my name is Crystal, and this is my YouTube channel. This is my first ever Flosstube video, but you may notice there are a ton of other videos on my channel. That's because this used to be a family vlog channel. We stopped making videos a long time ago, mainly because everything in our life was really, really negative, and I just didn't want to show that aspect of our life on camera anymore. So we stopped making videos. But I have, because of all the quarantine business, been watching Flosstube like crazy and decided to make my own video. I will say I just started cross stitching in January of 2020. I cross stitched when I was really little, so like 30 years ago, with my grandmother. And so it's been a long, long, long time for me, and I'm just getting back into it. I have quite a bit of stuff to share though, because this has very quickly become an obsession for me. So I made myself some notes about everything I wanted to talk about. So the first thing I think was I wanted to show some finishes I've recently had. So the way when I finish something, the pattern gets put away. I have massive OCD. I don't hang on to anything. I don't like clutter out anywhere. So everything has been filed away. I could have gone and gotten the patterns, but I just chose not to. I will try and link absolutely everything down below though. So my first one is my Lizzie Kate Flip It from March. This is everything that I'm showing is done on 14 count Aida because I'm new to this again. And for me right now, just getting back into it, I'm more interested in creating cute things for my house. I don't really care about the fabric yet. So everything's on 14 count Aida. This was oatmeal Aida that I honestly think I just got at like Hobby Lobby or Walmart, to be super honest. But this is a Lizzie Kate Flip It. I love the little monthly things. They just can pop on and off with magnets and washers. But this one was cute. I used the called for DMC, but not the buttons. I found the pattern at a secondhand shop, so it did not come with the buttons. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I did finish the April one, but I will show that next week when it is fully finished. So yeah, super cute. I messed up somewhere in the hat. Somewhere I got off and I couldn't figure it out, so I just kept stitching and stitching until finally I was like, yeah, looks like a hat. So that's what I have. So there's my March one. And again, I'll link it below, and I will show the April one if I do a video next week, because hopefully it'll be finished, because this week is April 1st. And then I have, this is so cute. This is called A Year in Chalk by Hands On Design. This was my second attempt at black. I will show you another project. I did my first black project on black 14 count Aida, and everyone that I had watched was like, if you don't want to do it on black, just do it on Aida. It'll be easier. It wasn't easier. It was still really, really, really hard. I got a lot of tension in my shoulders, and I would have a headache by the end of the night. So it took me like 9 days to finish that project. I'll show you in a minute. So I needed to take a little bit of time off before I did this one. So I took a few days off and then I did this. This is the March A Year in Chalk. Boop. Also on magnets. I chose to wrap the glass from the frame in this black checked fabric. And then I glued this burlap bow on, because I'm fine with this as my finish for all of these because they're all chalkboard and they're all white with a color. So they'll just magnetize on there. I also have April's done, and I will show that next week. And I will link the pattern for this below too. So then I have this guy. I did the same concept with this one that I did with the other one. This one just has 4 magnets and washers in each corner. And then this checked fabric is wrapped around the glass. I got both of these frames at Goodwill for like 79 cents. And then I just used, honestly, this is white primer paint. It's not even paint, it's primer. But I liked how kind of matte it was. It wasn't too glossy. And then it's so big, guys. The bow, I made a bow and then I didn't like it. And so I made another bow and it was smaller and I didn't like it either. So I just kind of had them sitting together on top of my kitchen counter. And I was doing dishes and I looked over and was like, oh my God, that's really cute. And so I just glued them on. I glued the little one to the big one and the big one to the frame. And again, because all of these, this is Seasons in Chalk from the 2016 Just Cross Stitch magazines. I went and bought them all. And I will link this issue down below. I just love it. It was, for me, really hard. It was really hard. Yeah, it was really hard to do. And I have really, really bad back. And I've just felt so tense. I don't know. And I took a lot of advice. Every time I felt tense, I would try and put it down. But then it was just, I got to get it finished. I got to get it finished. And I finally did. But I will link the issue for this magazine below. I absolutely love it. I have already started Liberty, which is the next one I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do the summer one just because I really like Americana. I don't really decorate for summer. I decorate for patriotic season, which for me is right before Memorial Day all the way through Labor Day. And then I go into fall. So I don't know if I'm going to do the summer one or not. We will have to see. Now that I'm doing all these cross stitches and there are a ton of super cute summer patterns, who knows? Who knows? I may switch things up. But so far, this is my absolute favorite thing I've done. But it was a beast. It was an absolute beast. And there were quite a few tears. And honestly, this fabric, it was just done on 14 count black fabric. I didn't do chalkboard, I did black. I didn't know if it was going to fit. Behind this is wrapped on, I wrapped it on black foam core, the like foam core you get in the craft section at Walmart. Because the holes on Ada are so big, I thought you're going to be able to see that. You're going to be able to see the white. If you can hear my kids, it's because they're home. They never leave anymore. They're home. But because I knew you would be able to see the white, there's some glue, through the holes, I chose black. The same with this. This one also is wrapped on black foam core. But there is only like 1/4 of an inch behind each side. That one was scary. It was because I started in the middle. Thankfully, I started in the middle and not 2 inches in, because then it wouldn't have fit. But I started in the middle, and as I started to get out to about like here, I would tell my husband, this isn't going to fit. This isn't going to fit, and if it doesn't fit, I'm going to cry. And thankfully it did. And I love it, love it, love it. And now I'll stop talking about it. So the next thing is my whips. When I started in January, I promised myself I would do one project at a time. I would finish that project, put all the supplies away, and then I would pick another project and start another one. That didn't happen. I went completely nuts. Here's my box of whips. This is everything that's my kind of like do right now. I do have 31 projects picked for Mania because I'm nuts. Like I just started and I was like, well, I'll do it all. I did join WhipGo. I am doing Enchanted Stitches challenges. Like it's just become my thing. So my first whip is Bloomtopia, which you've probably seen tons and tons and tons of people doing. I'm on release 4, and I will link the information for Bloomtopia down below. That's through the Fat Quarter Shop. It is a fundraiser for Make-A-Wish. It's a free pattern. They just ask that you donate $15 to Make-A-Wish. So here is mine. This was my first attempt at tea dyeing fabric. This was 14 count oatmeal Aida that I coffee tea dyed. And I'm using all of the called for colors except for whatever this butterfly was. I switched that color to purple. And I love it. And I'm highly anticipating Wednesday, right? Wednesday is when release 5 comes out. So I'm looking forward to that. I have stalked their Jolly Jabber blog, and the second that it comes out, I print it and I stitch it, and I don't do anything else until it's done. So I have been loving that one. That was my first, like, I'm gonna follow along and do something with other people, and it's been a really good time. Quilty Love is another one. I am on, this is my 3rd round of Quilty Love. I don't have the cover page with me, so I can't show you the pattern, but I will link it below. It's by Lori Holt from the Fat Quarter Shop, and y'all, I did the Valentine's one, loved it. I did one for Easter, loved it, and now I'm doing Americana. Just done in DMC. Everything's done in DMC. I haven't jumped headfirst into like fancy floss or anything like that, but these are the colors that I chose. And a white DMC. I just haven't gotten that out yet. But I thought they were like, I'm going to do this one for the big hearts. But I love it. I'm absolutely loving it. I love that pattern. Something about the quilting in a life that I don't actually live. I like to think that I'm a quilter, but I can barely sew a straight line. So I'm not a quilter, but I love the quilty look of that. Then let's see. Oh, I started Bluebird. It is a free pattern on Sullivans, on the Sullivans website. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this. I can't show the pattern because there isn't a cover page, but it's a little house and there's a blue bird. So that's how far I've gotten. I got through that entire color of green, and I know that it looks like it's just not going to show up, but all of that green is surrounded by white. So you will be able to see it, but we'll see when I work on that one again, because I joined the Enchanted Stitches. That's kind of ruling what I'm doing these days. Although I don't really know all the rules. I think we have this week off though, because it's a March and April week. I don't really know. What is it? Peter's Day Out. I started this one. I think this is a freebie. Lindy Stitches freebie. This is what it looks like. And I am going to turn it into a pillow. And I apologize that my screen is going in and out. I'm using my Mac. So if the coloring is off, that is why. This one is a pretty piddly start, but I got some of his shirt done and one of the flowers and his little tail. So not very far, but I've been on like a starting spree. I think I'm going to take the month of April. Yeah, I say that, but that's not true. To like focus on something, that's probably not true. A ton of whips. But I will link that down below also. So this, I can't show because there isn't a cover page. But this is, because we're all on Coronacation, our vacation, because of the coronavirus, Coronacation, that's what I'm calling it. There's all these freebies. The best place I can say to find them is, I found a lot on the Fat Quarter website, Fat Quarter shop, but also Keepsake's Facebook page. Steph has done a crazy good job, and they're all listed. But this one is from Little Stitch Girl, the basic bunch. It is Home is Our Safe Haven. I love this one. I don't think I can show it. But I rocked and rolled on this one. This was for one of the Enchanted Stitches projects. I want to say the project for week 4 with a door in it. So I just started on the grass, but I completed all of the white and all of the gray, except for if there's like one stitch. I haven't done that yet because I want to make sure that I have other stitches around it to tuck my thread behind. So here's that one. Make sure my needle stays in there. We don't need any lost needles. What is this? Oh, Stars and Stripes. I do have the page for this. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So I have until like the middle of May to finish this one. So I'm not freaking out. I've been doing it a little at a time. I use this for the Unenchanted Stitches challenge too, something about the navy, and so I was like, it's got a flag, it's a reach, but it works. So, I got a bunch of stitches in on that, and I will show you my progress. I have found that I really like to do all of the white first. I don't know why. But see, you can totally see through that. That's why I chose to use the black foam core, and I'll do it again. But that's my progress on that part of the flag. But I love it. Those are a collaboration, Hands-On Designs, and Priscilla. Y'all, she's a genius. She's a genius, and she can adopt me. Another freebie. So I was like, I'm not going to spend a bunch of money. I'm just not going to do it because who knows how long this hobby is going to last. I didn't know if this was going to be something that I would do one or two and be like, meh, yeah, it's cute, and then never do again. So I went crazy with the hobbies, or with the freebies. So this is a stitch design by Brooke Nolan. It's on the Brooks Books website, and they're a set of 4. There's all the 4 seasons, and it's a house. I can't show this because I don't have a cover page. But it's a 2-page. This was my first attempt at a multi-page project. And so far, so good. Except I did this entire half of the fence in white, 1 stitch over. So it all had to get frogged. Oh, that was stressful. That was stressful. So I need to get back to that one. This one's super cute. I don't know. Do I have a cover page? I do! This one is Fresh Eggs by Cherry Hill Stitchery. I have so many notes, random notes all over the place. That was for the fabric count, like what size fabric I needed. And I got, this is all done in one color. I'm using DMC 37.99 for it. I really like it. But as you can see, one color is super boring. This pattern is super cute, but one color is just no. It's a no for me. It's a giant no for me. So I'll do a little bit on the chicken, and then a little bit on the words, and then a little bit on the chicken, and a little bit on the words, and go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, because it's just so boring. So there's that one. It'll be cute. It's a fast stitch, so it won't take me long. I just need to get myself organized for the week and figure out what I'm going to do. But that one won't take long to finish. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Another one. I don't know if I printed the cover sheet for this. So I got this on Etsy. It's another one. This one is by the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, Priscilla and Chelsea. I needed a color, but I got it. Penelope and Peep. Yo, this is stupid cute. Like, I love her. I love her. And I found out, because I harassed them, I found out. This is a series. I can't remember what the series is called. A Sip of the Seasons. There's going to be a bunch of different animals, I think. Different seasons. And they're all the same size. So one finishing technique again. So I'm going to do something similar to what I did before. And I'm going to buy them all. I didn't get, they also on their Etsy page have a little like Rae Dunn cup with a chicken in it. And then they just did pigs. I didn't get that one just because I don't have a very large kitchen, and I feel like, honestly, I live in an apartment. I don't have a lot of space, period. So I don't know where any of this stuff is going to go. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do all the little ones, but I'm for sure doing the bigger one. And she is, like I said, just so stupid cute. That giant bow. It's like a giant JoJo bow. So again, 14 count tea-dyed Aida. I did all the pink in the ears and the nose. And then I started on the brown. And I was going to just color complete and do all the pink because that's my favorite thing to do. Color complete and then put the color away or put it in another project. But all the rest of the pink is like one stitch surrounded by other stuff. So it needs to wait. But I want to get this one done in the next couple weeks so it can go out for Easter. Not that we're having Easter. I mean, the Easter Bunny's going to come to my house. I don't know how he's going to bring anything, but he's going to come to my house. This one I did for an Enchanted Stitching Challenge. This was like stitch 500 stitches on an animal. I did all 500 stitches on Saturday. Today's Monday, so 2 days ago, I did all 500 stitches that day. And that sounds really easy, but with everyone home and being interrupted constantly. But this is another freebie. This is by Jardin Privé. I don't know how to say this. I'll link it below. But it's Creation Nathalie Chichon. I don't know. I'm going to do a quick flash of the pattern. All the black you see is me where I've Sharpied out because this is just a PDF copy. And I like to make working copies so that I can mark out where I've been. So, doop. But it says, Welcome Home Sweet Home, and it's 2 sheep looking at each other and then some flowers, and it is so stinking cute. I love it. But I did 500 stitches, and that's all I got. That's all she wrote. I didn't even get the head done. There's a lot of stitches in that one sheep. It's white. Done on tea-dyed Ada white. I've been experimenting. Some I've only left in for like 10 minutes. Some I've left in for 30, and some I've baked. Some I haven't baked. Just kind of trying to see the look I like best. And I don't want everything to look exactly the same. So I'm getting, I got one piece that was way too modeled. There was like a big giant black streak down this, that went in the garbage. It was a small piece though. Okay, and then the one I've been working on today, and my goal is to finish this today. We'll see if that happens. Is from the 2020 spring issue of Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. I did not print the cover sheet. I'm trying to save on ink because we're really only leaving the house like once a week. So I'm trying to save on ink, but I will do a quick of this, but it's called Spring Hair Etching by somebody, Cecilia Turner. It uses 2 colors of DMC. Honestly, you could use, or you can use Classic Color Works or Sullivans. You can honestly use whatever you want because there are only 2 colors. There's the bunny and then the flowers. So, boop. That's all you get. That's all you get. But this is my fabric. That is not right. There we go. I tried it on a hoop, but it just, I had to take it off. It was driving me nuts. So this is another one. So I finished all of the pink. But now there's so much brown. And I'm getting bored. Like so I'll do a little of the ear, a little of the body, a little of the ear, a little of the body, a little. So that's that. And then I only have one left. Okay. So everyone has their favorite floss tubers. I have a whole handful. But Kimberly from the Fat Quarter Shop is for sure one of my favorite humans. She is so funny and so honest, and I love watching her. I giggle. I just giggle. So I do not want to be offensive when I say this at all. I adore her. My last whip is, I joined the Stitch Quarterly, is this. Called Home. They designed it. It is gorgeous. I can't wait till it's done. I'm going to create a gallery wall of black and white photos of my kids. We live in Wisconsin, and so I'm going to take a bunch of the photos from Door County and Lake Michigan. We live near Sheboygan, so Lake Michigan on the coast. And it's just beautiful. So I'm going to make a gallery wall, and I'm going to add this and a couple of other things, but this is going to be one of the things I add to. I absolutely love it. But y'all, that is so much brown. I just can't. Like, I love it, but I can only do it for a little bit. So what I've been doing with this one is setting a timer for an hour and making myself stitch for an hour. And then I can move on to something else. I'm also not touching that flower until I get all 3 letters done, because the flower is going to be fun to stitch. But those 3 letters. So I got the M done. Finally. It took 11, 12, 47, 50, 12 years. But it's done. It's a beautiful M. And so I'm like a quarter of the way with the age. Maybe a third of the way with the age. And it is on Fabric Flare. This fabric, the wood grain whitewash, what is it called? Whitewash board 14 count 8 of Fabric Flare. It is so yummy and soft. It's on a hoop because it is soft. I just love it. But this kit, I love this kit. I love this kit. This kit introduced me to Bowen Cross Stitch and Tapestry Needle size 26. The new love of my life. That needle. It's good stuff. It is good stuff. But yeah, it's going to be amazing when it's done. But that brown, there's so much brown. I don't know how people do like a whole sampler in one color. No, that's not for me. That is not for me. So, what are my plans? My plans are, I don't even know. The WIPGO numbers were pulled, and I got, I don't remember what they're called. Faith in Bloom, which was from, I believe, the March-April issue, 2020 issue of Just Cross Stitch. And then Americana. Where did I put those? I swear I brought them over here. Pardon me while I dig through my things. Oh, I did. They're at the bottom. Okay. So one of my numbers, so WIPGO, if you haven't heard of it, I'll link the Facebook page down below. You create your own bingo board, basically, and they pull 2 numbers a month, and whatever your goal is what you try and get stitched that month. So my goal is to stitch 10 hours per project, and all of my projects are new starts because I honestly, while I have a lot of whips, I don't have that many whips compared to a lot of people. Because I just started. So I chose all new projects, and honestly, I chose a lot of magazine projects. I found at the Goodwills, I don't want to lose my page, a ton of these cross stitch and country crafts. Oh, I found these at St. Vincent de Paul, not Goodwill. Basically the same thing. This issue is from July, August of 1988. I was 6 years old. I remember seeing my grandmother had these. I wish that I would have kept all of her stuff. I wish my family would have thought to say, hey, Crystal, you're a hoarder. Not really. But do you want all your grandma's craft stuff? And I would have said, yes, but I didn't even think that far in advance. We were just thought through the funeral. But I found this anyway, tangent. I found a ton of these, like 40 of these. And I went through them and I was like, I need to stitch all the things. Like, all the things. But one of my WIPGO pieces is this. Americana. I don't know if the words are backwards for you. They probably are. They look backwards now that I'm thinking about it. But it's not very big. I don't know if it might take 10 hours. I'll probably finish this in March for sure. Because it's not very big. 72 by 51. So yeah, it's really tiny. But I have 10 hours to finish it. And I'm wondering, because there are quite a few colors in it. We'll see. But this is one of my WIPGO pieces. And then this is from, that I was talking about a minute ago. This is from the 2020 March-April issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine. It's called Faith in Bloom. and I love it. I have 10 hours to work on this one. This is going to take more than 10 hours because of all that confetti. But she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. So I was cutting my fabric because I like to cut my fabric before I put it in the tea and coffee. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's just that's what I like to do. And then I, in the corner, put a little number in Sharpie so I know, like, this piece goes with whatever. Like, I draw out the size of my fabric, and then I make little squares and put numbers and, like, write in what that piece is going to be used for to know what I'm doing. I like to be overly organized. But I was getting ready to dunk this one, and I looked at it, and I was like, no. This calls for antique white. 28 count antique white Jovelin. So I have 14 count white, antique white. So I'm glad I caught that and didn't dunk it. It would have still been pretty, I feel like, but I don't know. I don't think that all of these colors would have showed up as strikingly as it does on the white. And I love the pink matte. I think I'm going to have it framed exactly like this. Pardon the hair, guys. This is the I no longer leave the house and see people look. So that's what I look like. So haul. Like I said, I'm not buying a bunch of stuff. I have bought a ton of DMC to get ready for Mania. But it's already been put in my project bags, my Ziploc bags. So I can't show you all that, and you've all seen DMC. It's DMC. But I did get a couple of patterns off of Etsy. So 2 I got from Stone Street Stitch Works. This one's called Where Liberty Dwells. Oh my god. It's a flag. It's a flag made out of houses. Do you have this one yet? Why not? So this one will be added to my whip list for sure this week. For sure. Like I said, I think for Enchanted Stitches we have the week off. I don't know. I don't quite know how it works, but I haven't seen any assignments go up, so I might just do whatever I want. And then this one is called Star Spangled. Again, do you own it? If not, why not? Doesn't this just make you want to sit in a rocking chair with a quilt and like just rock? I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm talking about. And then right before I got on here, I was scrolling through the Facebooks, which I think Facebook was the idea of the devil. It's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. But it caught me and was like, you need this. You need to buy this pattern. And so I did. By Carolyn Manning Designs. Why did I buy this? She's gorgeous. I know, so this is why I bought this. There is a SAL starting on the Carolyn Manning Designs Facebook group, fans of, I woke up one morning and realized I'm in like 80-12 cross stitch groups on Facebook. And they all want me to be enabled and go buy the things. I need to get off of Facebook. But they're starting a SAL on Easter. I was like, I want to join. I want to be included. It's called Shooting Star, and I will link it below. It is beautiful. And honestly, I was so impatient to get on here that I only printed the cover sheet. I don't even know how big this is. I don't know. It could use 14, 17, 90, 40 colors. I don't know. But a SAL means you just started that day and kind of stitch along with people, right? Like, doesn't mean like has to be done anytime soon. So, y'all did it. You got me. I joined your mess. I joined your mess of making X's on fabric and getting all the things to do it. So thanks. Thanks a lot. I will say that since January, the cross stitching, I have thought of my grandmother more in the last 3 months than I have in the 5 years since she passed away. And I was talking to my mom about it, about just growing up, how she was just honestly the most lovely woman, I think ever. And none of that came because of stuff she bought me or whatever, but it was all things she taught me, things she let me get into, things she let me do. I have a picture somewhere. I'll see if I can find it for next time. But I am wearing I think I'm wearing a fur coat, like a real fur. And I was little. A fur coat. I either had a mop or a wig on my head. It was like white. I can't. Vague memories. And I had like a stick in my hand and I was like stirring. So obviously I was thinking I was a witch. And she just was like, "You're fabulous. Do whatever you want." She was amazing. And she had this sewing room. She had a painting room. They had a massive, old, massive house. She had a painting room. And she had a sewing room. And the sewing room was tiny. I mean, it was really tiny. But it was chock full of all the things. And this really old sewing machine and this really old rickety bed and this really old dresser where, you pull the drawers and everything squeaks. But I used to think I was Laura Ingalls Wilder and I played Little House on the Prairie in there. And it was I just have the most wonderful memories. And something about making the X's just makes me think of her and being covered in flour and gardening and sewing, and it's just been lovely. So honestly, I don't even know how this started. I think Kimberly's the first video that I watched. And shortly after started watching The Housewives of Cross Stitch. And that look was because y'all know. They do the things and then you want to do the things. And then I've just hopped on the bandwagon with so many other floss tubers that I'm like, let's all be BFFs and spend all our money and make all the X's. So, but yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a fun 3 months. I am definitely glad I found this hobby before this coronation started. Otherwise, I don't know what I would be doing with myself. I would have so much anxiety and be angry all the time. But this has really given me something to, nope, I'm just going to go make X's. You do what you want. I'll go make X's. So, but that is my first video. I don't even know how long it is. Who knows? I ramble a lot. But I want to say thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll come back. Hopefully it wasn't terrible, and you'll come back and you'll watch again. I think I'm going to try and do it again next week. I don't have anything else to do, so until then, I will see you later.